Hi, my name's Dan, and this video is one in a series of videos that I'm doing about inventories and inventory systems in video games, with a particular emphasis on the design of such things, which in turn is part of a larger suite of videos on game design topics. And this is the first in this series, so I'm going to talk about some really obvious basic things about inventories. Actually, what I'm going to talk about is when you have items in games, I'm going to talk about the different places that these items can be and how inventories fit into that. It's not rocket science, and if you've played a game at all that has an inventory or any kind of RPG, you will understand all this stuff implicitly anyway. So I'm going to look at different places for stuff to be. The first one is equip slots. So on player characters, you usually have some sort of usually in RPGs, in this kind of game, there's often some kind of slot system where objects appear and they are conceptually being worn or available for you to use for combat. So strapped to your back, in your hand, that kind of thing. And that's kind of very specifically on the character in some way. Now, these items that are equipped may also be in an inventory, or they may not. It depends on how you go about designing them. So the next thing is the inventory, which is a conceptually some kind of backpack or some way that you're carrying stuff around. The actual physical details aren't important because this is a game, and games deal with unreality quite neatly. So these are objects that the player has with them at all times and are available to them because they're carried around with them. That's the idea. And if you didn't know that, then you probably never played a game or never played any of this kind of game. That's fine. You might be introducing yourself to these concepts. Okay. So this is the kind of dream that you'll have some kind of interface that will show you where things are in your memory, that you can, in your inventory, that you can access them and make use of them. Sometimes the reality looks a little bit more like this. This is from World of Warcraft, and this is a number of different bags that this person has. All sorts of stuff going on here. They're carrying a lot of things around with them. Excuse me. The next place that things can be that I'm going to talk about is chests. So these are usually fixed locations in a world. This is a picture from Minecraft. This is actually a double chest, and in Minecraft, chests are things that you can make, but you do sometimes find them around in your world that you're playing in. And in some other games, they're just in very specific places. But these are places where you can store items, and when you open it up, it might look something like this, or at least it does when it's Minecraft. And so the idea is that the items live in the chest, and that is fixed in location in the world. So as your character moves around, they only can get access to these things if they come back to the chest and take things out of the chest. And the final, no, not the final one, the penultimate one I want to talk about is the Magic Bank. So this is rarer. There are only a few games that I've seen that have this kind of concept, which is it's a bit like a chest, but it has various different access points. So it's fixed in location, but it may have, in fact, in order for it to be a magic bank, it needs to have more than one location. And for some magical gameplay reason, if you put something in the chest in one location, you go to another location and open up the bank, then that object is then available for you from there. So it's fixed locations, but it's multiple fixed locations, and it's the same stuff everywhere. This is an empty reagent bank, so this is part of the bank system in World of Warcraft. Finally, I want to talk about the ground. So it's possible to drop items on the ground, and again, we'll go back to Minecraft. Here's some items that are dropped on the ground. They're kind of floating above the ground, and when the player runs over them, they can pick them up. This is quite a common thing to happen in games, to have items that are basically floating above the ground, somewhere where you can walk over them and pick them up. The ability to pick them up might depend on all sorts of things, but the most common thing is whether the inventory that you've got is full. Uh, so most games have some kind of uh, system to when things are dropped on the ground, they don't last forever. And this might be frustrating to you as a player. You wish that you could drop something on the ground and just leave it there and then come back later and it'll still be there. But you can't guarantee that. And the reason for not doing so pretty universally is that otherwise players will just drop stuff on the ground and use the world as an infinite storage facility. Of course, the problem is kind of remembering where you've put stuff. Um, as I said, this is Minecraft. Minecraft, it is very easy to make chests anyway, so you often end up with a base with loads and loads of chests, or at least I do. Um, so that's a quick roundup of these very fundamental concepts of where items can be in your game world. In the next one, I'm going to talk about some inventory tactics, ways that different inventories have been designed that are quite common. But that's it from me for now.